Hi, today we're going to do some training about how to get a model into Destiny. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into BIM 360 and log in, find your project. That can be found by searching for project number or by project name, and I also sometimes throw in location into that, but not all of the project naming is consistent on location. So let's say, for instance, this is going to be our project. We type in 670920 and Lander will come up. Make sure that we navigate to the document management tool. So if you're not already in the document management tool, make sure you select that. And then we're going to go into project files, Erdman, architecture. So you'll probably start off looking at this folder. Make sure you go into project files. You just navigate to it on the left side here. It's Erdman and then architecture. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to check is to make sure that this model is up to date. Sometimes people forget to publish, and you'll be able to tell by saying the last updated date. If this date is like in the past by 2 weeks, it's probably pretty outdated, especially if you just got the request. So you can go in and ask the person. It'll tell you who's updated it. You can always ask me to update it too, but you can ask the other people who are working on the project to update it. All the people that have to update it do is they open up Revit and then go to navigate to their file, right click and hit publish latest. That's all they have to do, and this will become automatically updated, and after that you're good to go to Destiny. So next up, let's get into Destiny. So I have that up on my screen here. So this is the Destiny screen. We want to navigate to the takeoff. Load in a fresh project, navigate to takeoff. We'll go load. We're going to go find that BIM 360 model. So in the first option we have BIM 360 model. Load this thing up. It's going to ask you to log in if you're not already logged in. Go through all of that process, and then Erdman, go find your file, the same one that you found on BIM 360. That's City of Lander, so that's right here. And then we're just going to navigate to our file. Those project files, Erdman, architecture, here. Alright, so then in the next step, we have to pick what model is the accurate one, the one that we actually want. So you'll notice here, there's a couple of them. This one says it's the most recent, so that one was 223. I'm not sure what internal clock this is using, but you can also tell by seeing the V6, V5, V4, obviously V1 all the way. So you're going to want to navigate to the most recent one, being V6. Okay. Wait for this thing to load up, and you got yourself a model. Alright, so the first thing that we're actually going to do before we start navigating around in here is build up our group. So our group is how this item tree is organized on this left side over here. It's pretty crucial to figuring out what you want to use it for, what you want to see really. So we hit this settings button right there. We're going to go to adding a couple of them. So this project deals in multiple phases. We have the wing over here. I think this is a med wing or something, but it is a different phase of project. We also have casework legend phase in there. That's by default. And then we have the new construction phase, which is what we want to start estimating. So we want to find phasing. We'll go phase created. Pull that one over by hitting this little arrow to the right. Next one, we're going to go is mapped. Is mapped means that it'll tell you whether it's mapped or not. If it's mapped, it's already included in your estimate. If it's unmapped, it's obviously not included in your estimate yet. So we'll show that. And then the next, we want to actually figure out what this item that we're estimating is. So we do identity data type name, pull that one over. And that's it for now. You can play with these if you want to add some, but these will get you where you need to go. So we'll just leave it simple at 3. You'll notice that on the left here, it built out the phases. So we have the new memory care wing. That is everything over here. And then the new construction is what we want to play with. So notice that when you click it, it'll highlight what exactly is all included in that folder or that phase. So it looks like the architect, whoever designed this one, has these two on incorrect phases. And Casework Legend is the phase down here that everything should be on. So you could tell them that their phases or their some model stuff is in the wrong phase there. But we'll just go to new construction. And ideally, when you see stuff like this floating out in the distance, you want to tell the architect to put that on a different phase. Whoever that architect is will be able to do that. Essentially, for this instance, it looks like they built out units on the left side over here out in the middle of the space. Whenever we pick up our estimate, it'll also pick that up. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, otherwise we'll get wonky numbers. Alright, all that aside, quality control aside, our next ladder down is unmapped. Everything is unmapped right now. Whenever you start mapping things, obviously the mapped one will show up. And then the next one is going to be all of your models, or all of the families, sorry. So you could tell some of these families have obscure names like Family 5 and Fascia and stuff like Fascia 1 and Floor 2. They don't really mean too much to you, but that's how they're defined inside of the Revit model. So this is what we have to work with. They'll be more defined as phases go from SD to DD and so on and so forth. So for instance, when I select roof 1, you'll notice that all of the roof of this type is selected. Alright, so that explains most of the grouping over here. There's one thing that you can do, so you don't have to redo all the settings all the time. We just add a view here. So I'm going to type this in Revit. Call it Revit file because we imported a Revit file. Different files will have different parameters that you can link, but we'll get into that a little bit. Alright, the next step is going to be model navigation. So you saw me scrolling around and stuff, but didn't do too much. This is a BIM 360 viewer window. So this is the same viewer window that we have over here. If I were to click on this and open this up, you'll notice that this is the same exact view with the same exact tools. It even looks the same and operates the same. So I think Destiny is just using a plug-in to where they're linking in this view, finding this view. So to navigate around this, we can click and rotate our mouse. Just move our mouse around and that will rotate if we're on the rotate button. We can also hit the scroll wheel in. So that button right there, you just hit that in and we can start panning around. And then you can always right click, but that right click doesn't do much, it pans as well. So however you want to operate that one. And then a couple other things we do. Here's the pan tool if you want to do it manually, but the shortcut is using the right button or the scroll wheel in. That orbit button shows you like where your center of orbit is. And then you can also do free orbit, but that one's a little bit more challenging. I wouldn't do that. We can get into a couple of things like zoom. Zooming is inverted for some reason. But you can just zoom in using the scroll wheel if need be. And then you could drop into first person view. First person view is kind of cool, but a little tricky at the same time. So I'm in first person view now. I'm going to double click over here. And this really isn't the best view for Destiny, but I'll show it to you anyways. So we're navigating. Whenever you hit that button, it'll pop up this navigate in first person. We'll tell you how to navigate. Once again, I'm not going to get too much into this, but this is how you do it. I'm going to go back to this orbit view, and then you can also hit this home button and you'll go back to the default 3D view. Alright, so then a couple other things we can do is section analysis. I can, one second, I want to click off of, there we go. So I had the roof selected. I wanted to stop selecting it, so I just hit this new construction button. Section analysis tool is pretty cool. We can cut the roof off, basically adding a plane. I have a whole video explaining the functionality of these, and it's located on the VDC training website if you really want to check it out in the BIM 360 training portal. So feel free to give that a check. But this basically just gives you a a section view, you can cut through stuff and give it a quick look. We won't mess with exploded model or the settings in this video. Alright, so that's the gist of navigation. Next thing I'm going to show you is how to navigate, or how to map things. So to map things to your estimate, it's as simple as clicking on it, and we will start analyzing properties first. So that's a right click. You first select with the left click, and then you right click to go into the options menu, hit properties, and I like to pin this actually. Currently it's on auto hide. I like to pin this because it is pretty important, and we can always shrink this down if we need to. But the 3D view isn't more important than this, having this information on the screen, at least to me. So whenever we select this properties tab and we have this posted here, we can start looking at what exactly is being read from Revit. So we'll notice that this one's the important one, roof 1. And you'll also notice that roof 1 is the same. Where'd that go? Roof 1 is the same family over here too. So this is the exact same. Whenever I select this, it's selecting one of these items. That's important to know because that's what it's reading. So that when I select similar objects, it's selecting everything with the same type name. So if I were to select something like a column, it would select all of the columns, all of the stone columns. So I'm going to show you how to do that with a roof. It's on top. We're going to go to select similar objects, and automatically your roof is entirely selected. You can go in and inspect, make sure that it got everything, but it definitely did. So what we will do now is we can throw this into an assembly, or you can create your one-off line items or add a line item. But I'm going to show you how to create an assembly real quick. So we go into shell, roofing, roof covering. We go find the roof that we need. And for this example, I'm going to use the 412. Double click on that. And you'll notice on the left side, you'll have all of the what we're taking off. And then on the right side, we'll have the actual line item, how it's building in cost. This is where our area comes in. So this is directly from the model. 40,432. You just click and drag that over, and then all of a sudden that becomes mapped. Whenever that turns orange like that, that means that that's mapped. You can also add in linear footage. I don't have linear footage for this specific one, but if need be, we could figure that out. Alright, so that's how you map. You could also edit these costs, but I'm not going to get into that. And then I will hit OK. And a couple of things will happen. So we want to, now you can start seeing there's a mapped and unmapped. So in this family tree we have new construction, and under our new construction phase we have mapped and unmapped. If we select the unmapped, everything that's left still needs to be estimated. So it's a really easy way to just filter out what you already did and filter in what you need to see so that you can map it. If I wanted to go back and check whatever, oh, did I map that, make sure, all I have to do is hit that check button and it will start bringing in all the other mapped items. That is pretty much it for this video here. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. But yeah, this is how you bring in a BIM 360 model into Destiny. So thanks.